4, 3, 2, 1.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point you realize you married into crazy. And that's what our show is all about. If your marriage or relationship is compassionate, real, accountable, zealous and yielding, or just plain crazy, Snooks and Lovey offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as they unpack this thing called marriage. Sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
Welcome back to another episode of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
I am Lovey.
And I am loving the Olympics.
That you are. But before we jump into the Olympics or actually give an update or what have you, we want to remind everybody that this is a podcast for the married folk, but also for those individuals that aspire to be married.
I was going to say not just for the married people, but I mean, it is definitely for those that are marriage minded. Maybe you don't have a spouse or a mate right now, but you want one, and that's your goal, your plan, sometime in the near future, far future, whatever, and then maybe it's just for people who want to just know what married people talk about. I don't know.
It's funny. I think we're going to change our tagline. I'm going to talk to our marketing team, and I think he just coined a new phrase for us.
Who'll be?
Yeah. This is a podcast for the marriage minded.
Marriage minded. MM.
Because trust, everybody that's married
is not marriage minded. That's
Come on.
true. That's way true.
Come on. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But do us a favor. Go over to marriedintocrazy.com and look at all the different ways that we serve the marriage minded.
Mm-hmm.
I'm digging that. I'm feeling that.
Okay.
All right. So, but bottom line is that you go there. There's so many different things that we do. Of course, there's the podcast that you're either watching or listening to, but there's also other things that we do to elevate the state of marriage mindedness. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm going to run with this. I really am.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. No.
So there's a Raise the B.A.R program that we have,
mm-hmm.
right? So it's available. It's accessible through the coaching tab over at marriedintocrazy.com. But if you want to go direct, you can always go to raisethebarmarriage.com, and you can take a look at this. It's basically a video series that walks you through all these different aspects of really raising the bar in your relationship. Mm-hmm. It's about, raising the bar. The bar is an acronym. You're going to actually affect your beliefs, right? Because your beliefs are something that needs to be elevated. Your beliefs are going to dictate your actions. Your actions are going to yield the results. And that's what we talk about in Raise the B.A.R. for those of you that aren't quite ready for our couple-to-couple coaching. Mm-hmm. And the couple-to-couple, it's a tongue twister. The couple-to-couple coaching is still available. It's still out there, though we're being a little bit more discriminatory about who we're actually working with.
Discriminatory?
Only because Snooks has got a very limited time frame, and so we're working for those couples that are actually coming in that really want to do the work and lift up their marriages. If you want to go from good to great, from great to phenomenal, or if you're having some challenges and you're just like, I just want to get to good.
Right.
It depends on the individuals and the amount of work you're willing to actually put in, because as much fun, as amazing as marriage is, it does take work.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to say, you see us in our fits. Go ahead and check out the store too, where you can get fits that look like this, some different type of also styles and everything. So we get a lot of people. They stop us all the time. They're like, oh my God, I love that. I love that. So, the store access is on the website also.
Yep. Let's see. We'll be in an airport and Snooks is walking through, talking about all the married folks wear like this. Look, we got to have fun when we're doing this also.
We don't have to do that though.
Oh,
no,
we do.
We don't. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm corny. So what? Hey, listen.
He is.
We've been married for 27 plus years. We talk about all things marriage mindedness. And we occasionally bring you guests, either subject matter experts or also those individuals that have been married for quite some time or even short periods, but have overcome a lot, that have a story to tell. Mm-hmm. And so keep an eye out for those interviews, as well as some of the things that we bring you like today.
So for myself, I'm just going to say I'm super excited right now because the Olympics started. I love the Olympics. I mean, I think we watched some of everything. Doesn't matter what it is. We'll watch it just because,
Hey, in the winter, I'll stay up till 3 a.m. and I'm watching curling, and I'm like, let me get a broom. I can still get a medal.
And I'm like, get a broom. Yeah, let me see you. Get a broom and sweep that floor. But like Lovey said, this is about marriage minded, being marriage minded. And as I was watching the Olympics, and I was like, just these random thoughts occurred to me. It's like being in the Olympics is almost like being in a marriage. I said that to myself. He was like, what are you talking about? When I finally said something to him. But I'm like, think about a team, your marriage, my partner. This is my partner. We are a team. And
who's the captain
of the team?
Of the team.
Jesus.
Okay, I'll take that.
You was thinking it was gonna be you.
That was an answer I wasn't anticipating, but hey,
okay.
Jesus is my coach and my captain.
But we are co-captains behind him. I feel like the point is no one person supersedes the other. That's how it should be. In the team concept. I know that's not necessarily true, but in a marriage, we are a team. And so as I'm looking at the team, and more particularly, I was thinking about this. There's so many different things, but at this time I was watching the men's gymnastics qualifier, the American USA men's gymnastic qualifier. And there was a guy, I want to say Adrian Brody. He's the actor, but Brody Malone, right? There was a lot of talk about him. You really felt like he was going to come out in the qualifier and he was just going to, he was like going to be the guy. Everyone was going to kind of stand on his shoulders and stuff. And I get why they thought that, or why that came about, because he was in a horrific accident before, and the fact that he's even able to walk and stuff, that's amazing. But so, the first exercise was the pommel horse, and he fell off the pommel horse or whatever, and everyone's like, oh my God, first of all, I'm just gonna put it out there. The commentators,
okay,
I almost have to
stick to the script.
I'm just saying, I almost have to just shut them out. Like, I just wanted to be on mute. But anyway, he fell down, and then on the bar, he fell twice, and I just thought about how his team was responding to him, how they were encouraging. And it almost makes me want to cry, because it's like so many times in marriages when one person is messing up, they're going through something and they're messing up, and it's just not going the way they want it to.
She's
not
forcing
only
herself
have to
not to look at me when she says messing up.
I'm
wants to
forcing
turn and look at
myself
me.
not to look at you, because it just kind of, like I said, I get emotional when I watch the Olympics. I'm a huge Olympics fan, but I can hear them and they're encouraging him, and they're like, come on, man, you got it, lifting him up and everything. And even when he fell the second time, and nobody, this dude or whatever. But it's like, how many times in marriages do you have one of the partners that are going through something, or they're messing up, and his mess up could ultimately affects the placement of the team. Like if he got a low score, that's going to bring them down the total score also. But how many times in marriages where you have the one partner who's having a tough time, or they're messing up, or whatever, they do something wrong, how are we responding to that partner? Are we like the guys on the team? We're encouraging that person, like, okay, you got next, or whatever it is, you got now, shake it off, or not in a way to dismiss whatever it is that they're going through, but like, come on, babe, let's go. Come on. How can I help? Let me keep talking to you. Let me keep talking to you so that what I'm saying will resonate and you start feeling what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you're better than the fall. You're not the fall. You're not,
Right.
So I thought about that, and it just, got a little teary eyed because you can totally see the disappointment on his face. And sometimes when you go through those things, you can't get that out of your head. All you see is the mess up. All you see is, so imagine being in a relationship and all I see is what I did wrong. And all my partner is doing is reminding me of what I did wrong. How is that going to help? How does that help the relationship? You know what I'm saying?
It really doesn't, and if you take a look at the, as you were saying that, I was just coming up with all these different scenarios in my head. Applying for multiple jobs for whatever reason, and then getting turned down left and right. Not because you're not qualified. It just doesn't shake out your way. Right. But then your partner's getting frustrated because it's like, look, we need the help. You need to just take any old job. I don't care. But you're trying to pursue the job that that you were made for, your calling, right? And you're going for it, not pie in the sky, but really doing the things that you're supposed to, or for whatever reason, person messed up, overspent. Look, that's happened multiple times in our relationship over the years.
I'm just trying to say why bro point at me though. He's like, that's happened multiple times. Turn around, looked at me and pointed.
We've both done it due to lack of communication. No, there's been times where we've lacked communication. Where you think it's the most simplest thing you can do, and I thought I was supposed to pay the bill. She decided she was going to pay the bill, and she's usually the one that takes care of it. And then I'll step in and be like, okay, you know what? I know we didn't take care of this. Let me handle it. And then we end up making a double payment somewhere. And we're like, well, what
happened to that money that was right there?
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things like, dang, and then you want to blame the other individual when it's my action. But rather than point the fingers, it's an opportunity to sit there and really dig in. I'm like, oh, you know what? Don't worry about it. We got this. You know what? Whatever we go through, whatever the go through is, we're going to go through together. Mm-hmm. And that's the mindset you need to have. That's that marriage mindedness that Snooks was alluding to earlier. Mm-hmm. And I love your example of the Olympics. I'm going to steal your thunder because I know you want to talk about Simone Biles and how she was there for Suni. I'm just going to be quiet.
Finish.
No, I was just going to say, I'm not even going to talk about what you were going to say.
I wasn't done with the guys, but go ahead.
But when you take a look at what stands out to me, and again, I know we're on gymnastics, but actually, I'll pivot. I won't even talk gymnastics. I'll jump over to track. We watched that
Sprint.
Sprint on Netflix. You got to watch it. It's actually really, really good. But it followed multiple track athletes, and not just U.S. athletes. It was about people from Jamaica, from England, also from the United States, all sprinters and what they were going through. It covered Gabby and Sha'Carri and Lyle, but then also Linford Christie, Blast from the Past. What's her name from Jamaica? That's on MVP.
There's Sharika.
Sharika Jackson. Mm-hmm. Yep, it was Sharika Jackson and stuff. But it really highlighted some of the things, the elements of team. It's an individual sport, but there were so many elements of the team. When Sha'Carri was going through stuff, there were some girls on the team that were like her ride or die. As a matter of fact, there was this particular instance. Spoiler alert coming up. But there was a scene where when the 4x100 team actually won, right? The women's team and it was at the World Championships. They won, and they wanted to gather the team to actually take pictures. And a couple of the ladies that were on the team had their flags and got their flowers, and they were ready. Sha'Carri was like, no. They kept trying to give her the flag and the flowers. And she was going through the crowd, walking all over the place. And I thought, man, she's not being a great teammate. I even said that to Snooks. But what she was doing was she was looking for the other girl, the youngest one on the team, making sure that she didn't get lost. So she went and ushered the girl over so then they as a group could take a picture. And then it hit me like, wow, that was dope. Because from the outside eye looking in, because, just following the cameras, I thought, wow, she's really not trying to be part of the team. But she was trying to make sure the team was fully intact before she accepted anything else. But that was somebody that was looking out, that had that team mentality. Mm-hmm. And I think it's those types of things that lend themselves and they have lessons for us to act as a couple.
I agree with that. So kind of, if I could pivot back to gymnastics.
Go back to gymnastics.
Yeah. But one thing too, I was thinking this was a new fresh thought, but with Brody Malone, the pressure of being that guy where everyone's standing on his shoulders or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Not only did his teammates, man, you got it, you could do it, blah, blah, blah. When he fell and when he off the pommel horse, off the bar, but not only were they encouraging him, but it's like they took some of the slack off of him because they stepped up. They were like, okay, you know what? My teammate is down. My teammate is not doing his best or not performing at his best. So I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that we all qualify, that we get in there. I'm going to do my part. I'm going to do my share, and I'm going to do the best that I can. They didn't, and I know, well, of course, because it's the Olympics, but again, tying it into as it relates to marriage, a lot of times there are people where when your partner is not giving their 100%, because it's never 50-50. Everyone should start out at the beginning of the day with 100%. So if you see that your partner is not giving 100%, sometimes there are folks that will withhold. Well, I ain't doing that. He half doing it. I'm half doing it. Have that mindset of it's always the competitiveness. You're not going. I'm not going to be the one out here doing everything, blah, 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 whatever. Instead of trying to do the best to make sure the relationship stays whole, it then becomes about just them, So it wasn't like, they were encouraging him, but they picked up the slack of, all right, we getting this, we doing this, we are doing this. Not I'm doing this, but we as a team collectively are going to do this. That's what teamwork is about. And so like Lovey alluded to, I'm going to talk a little bit about Simone Biles and Suni. Suni had made a comment. I think it was Suni that it came up.
Excuse me, it's Sunisa.
Sunisa, exactly. And I think you were saying Shakari. I think it's Shakari. Anyway.
Shakari. Tomato.
No, it's not.
I'm just playing. Girl, if you ever see me in the street, don't cut me. I'm just saying.
Look, just don't get blood on me when you cut him now. But there was there was some type of routine or something that she was doing, and she did it the way that she did it. Simone Biles was watching her, and she went to her and made a comment or a suggestion how she could pivot and make some type of alteration or whatever. And Suni did that, and she nailed it. And I think, nailed it really well or whatever. I think it was in competition or something, got a high score. But that's someone who is a teammate that's looking out for her teammate. It wasn't about I'm Simone Biles, I'm the best ever, so everyone else, you doing that wrong, honey, but I sure ain't gonna say nothing to you because I want all eyes to be on me and I want to look the best or whatever. No, she went and told her to make some adjustments, and Suni made the adjustments. So, again, back to marriages, how often are we making those suggestions to our spouses, like, babe, did you maybe consider doing it this way? And not telling her, oh, girl, you're doing it all wrong because blah, blah, blah. No, making the suggestion. Now, it's going to be up to the other individual whether they take that under consideration or not, but put it out there. All you can do is put it out there. But that's what I feel like.
Well, it can show up in a variety of ways. I think another way it can show up in the manner in which you're talking about is, how many times have you been wrong? You're talking to your family, but you make it sound like the other person's wrong, like it's their fault.
Right.
Like, oh, well, you guys were supposed to do this. How come you weren't there? Oh, well, yeah, he was tripping that day. He didn't because you got your family, you got your squad right there behind you. Rather than be like, yeah, that's on me. I messed up. That was not even on him. I take full responsibility for that one. I'll take the L because I did this, and this. as opposed to, girl, you know how he is, or you know how she is, man. She always tripping. And instead of like, yeah, well, the backstory is I didn't do what I was supposed to do, which in turn put more pressure on her or on him. And so they weren't able to do what they needed to do. And that's why we were late, or that's why we couldn't make it. You know, the outcome is only part of the story, and we don't give the backdrop. But if you're a team player, you know, you take full responsibility, 100% of the responsibility for whatever went down. The goal is to make your partner shine. You know, it's like we talk how we compete. You know, on you ain't gonna outlove me. I'm gonna love you, and I'm gonna get that love gold medal because I'm gonna outlove you. And what you're talking about, to me, there's a phrase that comes to mind. I'm saying everything I can because she won't let me talk today.
Wow.
And I'm loving it. I love it when she talks. But there's a phrase, as you were sharing, that phrase, collaboration over competition. And I think that, yes, competitiveness does have a place. We're competitive with each other, but we collaborate. Our competitiveness takes a back seat to our collaboration, or our collaboration allows us to be competitive, not with each other, but for each other.
I was going to say, I mean, we're competitive, and we're competitive to make our relationship better. You know, just like the girls and even the guys, they're competitive, but it's to make the whole, as a team, because we want to go win that goal. We want to go medal. We want to go do whatever. You know, it's never just about the individual person. It's about the whole team. There's no I in team, you know. You know,
there was a scene in that sprint where Noah Lyles was in front of the camera. I just thought of this, where they were interviewing him because, you know, he was going from being, you know,
the 100 to 200 or something.
He's going from the 200 to the 100. And they were like, well, what makes you think you can actually do this? And how are you going to show up for the 100? And he was going to race. This is, again, world championships. And he was going to race
Hughes?
The guy from the U.S. from Texas that he won the he was the defending champion, but anyway
and Kerry, was it Kerry?
No,
oh,
I can't think of his name right now for some reason. But anyway, but Noah Lyles made a comment about how they were talking about, it's going to be strong competition, and Lyles said, I love the competition because competition makes us better. He goes, I need these guys to make me better. Right. As a matter of fact, he did say to the one guy when they were in the UK that he was like, you know what, I want you. He said, well, are you going to break the record? And the guy was kind of like, you know, he doesn't have the same personality as Nolan. Hughes. Hughes didn't have the same personality as Lyles. Lyles is out there, right? Hughes is like, oh, you know, I'm going to do my best. And Lyles was like, no, you're going to break that. I'm going to beat you, but you're going to break that record.
The British record.
Yeah, the British record.
And you know what, I not a tangent or anything, but this is just how in competition, like Lovey said, you're going to break that, you know, you're going to break that record or whatever. When Lyles won, Hughes was right behind him, and Hughes set the British record. And Lyles went up to him, Noah went up to him and hugged him, and the camera was right there, and he said, don't ever doubt yourself. Don't ever doubt. You know what I'm saying? That was, I thought that was, because he didn't have to say anything. He could have just went on and did whatever.
Yep, get my flowers, get my gold medal.
But that was a lesson I felt like he was telling, man, don't ever doubt yourself. And that's why he is where he is right now, because he doesn't doubt, you know.
And it was I mean, we love track. We love track, as you can tell. And it was a big deal because if you've ever followed track, and I used to live over in the UK for a little while, for about 4 years, and Linford Christie is a statesman. I mean, everyone loves Linford Christie. He was a great competitor. He's a great human being. But for the record to be broken on UK soil, it was amazing. Yeah. But the fact, like you said, that of course, you know, Noah Lyles celebrated, but that was short-lived. He was quick to turn right around and go look for Hughes because he saw the number. He ran over to him, hugged him, and was yelling and celebrating him. Yep. He was celebrating the second place guy. Now, granted, they weren't on the same team, but these are guys that loved the sport. They were celebrating each other. And Hughes was thankful to Lyle for actually setting the pace, for getting them there. Because without each other, none of that would have happened.
Yeah, it might have been a slower time.
And that's the way it is in our marriage. Without each other collaborating over competition, competing for each other, not against each other, like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to do this. You know, the only thing you should be competing for is the covers in the bed. That's it. That's the only time it's one versus the other. Like, I'm going to get more of these covers. And I say that jokingly, But the Olympics are a great testament to what being a phenomenal teammate looks like and how it should show up in your marriage.
There's too many people. We're just competing against each other for the wrong thing. Maybe it's for, I don't know, who has the most space in the closet or I mean, that's silly, but just anything like that. We have to make sure that we are using the team as a guide per se in our relationship. So just real quick, like the things, the fundamentals of a team, what makes a good team, knowing how to communicate with one another.
Right.
You have to be able to, like you said, be able to collaborate. There's commitment. Can't be on a team unless you're committed to the team. You have to be able to trust each other. You have to be able to work out your conflicts, because everybody on the team ain't getting along. We don't always get along, but we have a solid conflict resolution, but we also support each other, just like we just talked about, So we have to make sure that don't be out here by yourself doing the Olympics like a solo player. You're on a team, so operate as such.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too, where we even saw what happens when a team falls apart. Look at MVP over in Jamaica. You had 3 major personalities that were over on the Jamaican team for the women's track and field. Person thought they weren't getting the shine that they should have been getting, so they left MVP. And then another person felt like, oh, okay, well, there's an up-and-comer, and, I should get more of this, that, and the other. So then that person left MVP, and I can do this on my own. I don't need a coach. And then when Sharika came up and stayed with MVP and then did her thing, had her coaching, all that, I mean, she dusted them. But the people that were saying, oh, I don't need to have this type of environment, they didn't perform the way that they possibly could have.
Yeah.
Because the focus was on them. Now, it is an individual sport, and you've got to be there. But I truly believe that if they had more of that collaborative spirit that you're talking about,
A team.
we're going to come up together. There is a time where you're supposed to do your own thing, but there is also a time where you should be doing things collaboratively. And everybody in the marriage, if there's only one spotlight, it's going to shine on one or the other. At times it should be shining on both. But here's the thing. If it shines on me, everybody that knows me needs to know that it's also shining on my wife.
That's right. And vice versa. And it might be shining on me because of what he's done to make sure that I'm pushed out in the front to elevate, and so we don't do this marriage thing by ourselves. So we need to make sure that we have that marriage mindset to get it done together.
Absolutely. So we didn't do a Raise the Bar segment this week because I felt like in the spirit of competition and the spirit of collaboration, this entire series is about collaboration over competition within your marriage, and be the Olympic champion. So when you step up on that podium to receive your gold medal for your marriage, there should be 2 of you getting up there on that stage, standing up on that top pedestal.
That's right.
It's not one of you's at the gold, the other one's at the silver. No, we lift each other up, and we make sure that we're adjacent to each other, holding on to each other, and striving for that gold. And that's exactly what we wish for you. So enjoy these Olympics. Have a great time, but look for these lessons that you can apply on a daily basis within your marriage.
That's right. And until the next time,
be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. Please like, subscribe to, and review the show wherever you access it, and tell a friend about us. Visit marriedintocrazy.com and see how Snooks and Lovey can bless your marriage directly.